What's good, family? It's your boy Just Blaze, host of the best NBA pod in the game, Above the Rim. Keep it locked each week and join myself and a special guest as we tackle the latest rumblings in the league. If it's happening in the NBA, you know I got you covered. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and leave that 5-star review. Let's get it.
Game. I'm happy that there's emotion. It would suck to play when nobody's cheering or booing. So it's kind of cool. I like it. Whatever it is, if it's emotion, it's good. So again, it doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna try to win them over now. It is what it is.
Just got an elite talent, okay, baby? The Maple Mamba is in New York. We are excited. Number 3 pick. Knicks are back. Season tickets. Let's go. Knickerbocker basketball.
Been a long time coming, man. RJ Barrett, welcome to New York, baby. This is what it's all about, right here.
Talk about it.
You are now tuned in to Above the Rim.
Welcome, family, to another edition of Above the Rim, episode 111, brought to you, as always, by your honorable host, Justin, a.k.a. Just Blaze. And joining me this week, I got one of my guys here, one of my dogs here, one of my supporters here, one of my brothers here, my man all the way out from L.A., avid Knicks fan, my man Josh Rodriguez. What's good, my brother?
What's going on, Just? Thanks for having me on, man. It's been a while.
It's been a long while, actually.
Too long, man.
Definitely too long that we haven't screamed about your Knicks, I would say.
It's the same story every year, bro.
100%. We are definitely screaming about your Knicks, as usual, man, as always. And family, as always, you can listen to Above the Rim anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether that be iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, YouTube, lineups, wherever that may be. You can follow me at JustBlaze_513 on IG at JustBlaze513. Facebook, search Above the Rim Podcast. See me a little show as well. Above the Rim NBA Podcast at gmail.com. Excuse me. Call up to talk about a line, 908-718-1592, as always. And I'm Josh, my brother. Where can the family find you? Screaming about your Knicks on Twitter, man. Where can the family find you?
You could find me talking some sense into Knick fans at Josh_Rodriguez_. And my podcast is The Dime with Josh Rodriguez. That account is at The Dime NBA on both Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, make sure you go follow The Dime family. The Dime NBA podcast, one of my go-to podcasts.
Thank you.
Of course. Come on. Listen, I respect people that always come on the show on Above the Rim. Listen, if I bring somebody on here, they have the utmost knowledge and the utmost respect for me. So, my brother, when I call you on, it is about that time to talk that heat.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. Just most definitely. And, brother, let's get right into it, man, because actually this whole episode has a lot to do with you, a lot to do with me when we get into it. So let's get into some news around the NBA before we get into your Knicks, man. And we got to talk about your boy Melo, my boy Melo,
Yep.
Reem's boy Melo.
Was this round 2, round 3, something like that?
Round 2, round 1, round 2, round 3. So yeah, let's talk about my boy Carmelo Anthony. And Reem came here with a voicemail, so let's hear that as well.
What's going on, Above the Rim family? It's your boy Melo Reem on the check-in. And you know why I'm hitting y'all. Let me tell y'all something. It ain't my birthday. It ain't Christmas. But it's Melo time. My boy is back in the league, playing with Dame, playing with a team that has teammates that still believe in him. You know CJ always been recruiting him. Dame been recruiting him for years. Rodney Hood said last season that he can't believe Melo ain't in the league. He's still a dog. So guess what? This is the last curtain call. I'm here for it, man. Y'all already know I am. Like I said, man, Above the Rim fam, let's go.
Man, shout out to my boy Reem for sending the voicemail into the Above the Rim family. Appreciate you, my brother. Melo signs with the Portland Trailblazers. And let's talk about what Carmelo Anthony can bring to the table to the Portland Trailblazers, because you know I'm a big fan. You know, Above the Rim podcast is a big Carmelo Anthony supporter, and you're like a halfway Carmelo Anthony supporter because I know you know the man's talent, but you had a lot of strong opinions, I would say, when it comes to Carmelo Anthony joining the Knicks. But let's go from this perspective. How did you feel about the Carmelo Anthony signing to the Portland Trailblazers, and were you okay with it? How did you feel about it? Because I know you have a lot of feelings about Carmelo Anthony, as me as well. So what were your thoughts on when you first heard, I should say, the Melo to the Trailblazers signing?
All right, well, I'm not going to front. The first time I heard it, I actually laughed because he's back in the league, and I couldn't take a chance. I couldn't believe someone took a chance on him. And it has something to do with him. Listen, I always preface this when I talk about Melo, because a lot of Melo haters or whatever, or people who are haters in general, are very irrational when they're haters. I am fully on board with Melo being a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the most talented scorers in league history. I know all that. I'm not denying that. But then after I thought about it, I still don't think he's going to help as much as maybe someone like you or his supporters think he's going to help. But if any team was to take a chance on him, I think Portland's a good spot. Right now, I think they're starting Mario Hezonja, for crying out loud, which is like ridiculous. Anthony Tolliver has done nothing for them. It's almost like you can't do worse than that. So why not bring in someone who can score the basketball? I mean, if Hody Melo is a real thing still, who knows? But why not?
Wow, you going after Hody Melo?
Listen, I fell for summer workout Ben Simmons, so I can't be talking about
exactly. I'm about to say you can't. You definitely are one of the ones who fell into the.
I fell for that so hard. I am ashamed of myself for falling for that, but. But yeah, I think if any team's going to take a chance on Melo, it would be Portland. I mean, that position for years has been their weak spot.
Yes.
And so he does fill a need. Melo gets a lot of flack for not playing good defense. I think he does play good on the ball defense when he's engaged and he wants to. It's pretty much off the ball. But right now, Portland's not stopping anybody anyway. So it's almost like he's really not going to hurt the Blazers too much there. I think it's a win-win for both of them, to be honest with you. After I got over myself and stopped laughing, you know what? If I'm going to take a swing on Melo, it's this team.
You see, so when you say you're laughing, I'm a little mad at that because I don't know why you're laughing, because I feel like Melo really can contribute when it comes to the Portland Trailblazers in the position, because he really does fill a need. Like, they really need scoring at the four. They have, like you said, Hezonja and Anthony Tolliver. I mean, Anthony Simmons is not even up there, but Anthony Tolliver and Hezonja. Like, let's get real. You don't think Melo can provide a little bit more than those two can provide?
I know they can. I know he can. And even as probably the biggest hater of Carmelo Anthony out there, I can't deny that.
Stop it, Josh.
No, Carmelo Anthony, he's definitely better than Hezonja. He's definitely better than Tolliver. He's going to be an upgrade no matter what. The only worry that I would have, and this comes from, I think anyone can actually admit this, is, you have Dame, who I wouldn't say he's an isolation specialist, but he likes to go one-on-one. CJ likes to go one-on-one. Now you add likes to go one-on-one. Okay, it's almost like, all right, are you going to turn into like this isolation specialist team? And in my mind, I don't think that's the way to go. I mean, we can talk about your Rockets all day. They're looking good right now, but you do need wrinkles in your offense. You do need sets. And I worry that they're just going to turn into this team that doesn't play defense and just basically holds the ball all possession. And it's not Melo's fault, and specifically because CJ does it a lot. I think Dame does a better job than most people think he does, spreading the ball around. Mm-hmm. But that's what worries me about the Blazers. When they tend to struggle, it's because they're not really moving the basketball. Dame has to keep bailing them out.
Yeah, I agree. And I believe that they hold the basketball because they don't have necessarily a versatile or dynamic offense.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, when you look at the offense, it's really two primary penetrators, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, two primary penetrators, and who is realistically creating the offense for the rest of the entire team. You don't see Hassan Whiteside actually posting up. Let's get real. That's not happening.
No, you're right. And they're missing Nurk. They're missing Nurk too, which is big because Nurk can pass the basketball as a big man.
True. True,
Yeah.
but even if Nurk was there, I still feel like they would need that extra piece, that extra jolt, or that extra jolt of offense, I would say, for me particularly, because I don't feel like they have any low post game. Because like I said, Hassan Whiteside, he doesn't have a low post game. Melo does have a low post game if it's still there. If it's the Melo that we do know, if it's the Melo that we remember, it's still the Melo that can still get a bucket on the low post, on the low block. It's still the Melo that can primarily jab step. It's still a Melo that can get a quick 1-2 step in order to get to the bucket. It's still that kind of Melo. We hope that's still that kind of Melo when he transitions into a Blazers uniform. But honestly, when you look at the Blazers right now, they need any type of scoring that they can possibly get when it comes in between as a third scorer, really, because you have Dame, you have CJ, and after that, it's really a couple of spare parts. If you're really being honest with each other, it's really a couple of spare parts. But I feel like Melo really on that team, he can provide a really, really, really good piece of production from that 4 spot, from that 3-4 spot, wherever he's going to be playing. I assume it's a 4, but he really can provide some really decent scoring, maybe a little 10 points, 10 to 12, 20 to 13. I feel like Melo can provide, and I think that'll be nice for him.
No, I agree with you on that. And, my biggest complaint with Carmelo Anthony is the fact that I do think he kills chemistry. And I don't think there's any chemistry to kill with this Portland team. That's more of a knock on Portland than it is Melo right now. I mean, now, Portland's not looking good. So I can't come in here and say, well, Melo's going to kill chemistry. Well, what chemistry does he have to kill? If anything, they could base an offense around and I mean, this is me being optimistic about the situation. I do think you are correct in everything you just said. They do need scoring from that position in particular because that has been their weak position for the past 2 or 3 years. He could be a nice boost. He can actually take pressure off of Dame. Maybe Dame could start creating for other players a little easier for him. I don't know, if Melo's gravity is going to work when he's out at the 3-point line. I'm not sure if his teams are going to be scared of him shooting the 3 ball, but if he starts hitting the 3 early, teams are going to start respecting that because he's Carmelo Anthony. So it really just depends on, Melo's mindset. If he's willing to accept the role, I do think to defend Melo here, which I can't believe I'm going to do. I do think he did try to role in Houston, and I think his departure was a little too early. I think he did try to accept his role in OKC. I just think it was a bad situation for him. So I do think that Melo is coming into the situation knowing that, hey, this might be my last shot, and I think he's going to have the right mindset. It's just that, I go back to, you are what you are. Zeber can't change his stripes. And what Melo is, he holds the ball, jab step, mid-range, and it's worked for him his whole life. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend going away from it because that's how he's made hundreds of millions of dollars. So I don't know. I mean, if there's one team, though, that I don't think he can mess up, it's the Blazers because they're already messed up. And their ceiling is high if it works out because they could turn it around. You saw last year they went to the Western Conference Finals. That could happen.
I agree, and I feel like I agree with you that they're ceiling, honestly, well, they're underperforming this year, so they really have no way but to go up, technically.
Exactly.
Right?
Especially in the West. I mean, if they're below 500, you have to win 50 games.
Yes.
Right now they have it is panic mode. I know it's only 13, 14 games into the season, but they have to start winning games now.
Oh, they're in full blown panic mode right now, Josh. Full blown panic mode because a lot of people had the Blazers as either. I wouldn't say either. I would say a top 3 team in the West. A lot of people had the Blazers projected to be the depending upon their what they performed with last season, going to the Western Conference Finals, playing in a hard series against the Denver Nuggets last year. So, I mean, they've been underperforming this year. They know they needed a jolt. I know they needed a jolt to get them started into this season, and Dame most definitely and CJ as well definitely needed some scoring punch to go with that lineup. So let's see. I'm gonna see. The jury's still out on how Melo performs with this unit and how he gels with this unit. We're going to see because we haven't seen him play yet. So I would say probably in the next episode, we're going to see how Melo has gelled in the first couple of games with the Portland Trailblazers. Right. So we'll see. But most importantly, man, let's get to your New York Knicks.
Hey, listen, Nice win tonight, right?
Yeah. Oh, listen. Woo! Speak on it. Nice win tonight. Who'd y'all play with? The Cleveland Cavaliers y'all played with tonight.
The powerhouse.
The powerhouse. Brought to you by the anchor of TTK, Tristan. They call Tristan Thompson. But so let's talk about the your New York Knicks, and I wanted to address them a lot because I've been talking about them the last couple of episodes, and I did go to the game this past weekend against the Charlotte Hornets. Oh. Man, I must say, I was very disappointed in your Knicks, Josh. I know I wrote you on Twitter. I wrote my man, Big P40, my man Paul from the Urban Analyst podcast, because I know you two are avid, extreme Knicks fans. And I had to say, I was very disgusted in what I saw, brother. I was very disgusted. So I'm going to go over a couple of observations that I saw from this game. Me seeing them up close, in person for the first time this season. First thing, I got to say, a little bit from the Charlotte side, my man Terry Rozier is what I call him. Rozier.
Ooh, I like that.
Rozier.
Like that.
My man is out here stealing checks, Josh.
We knew that, though. Everyone in the world knew that.
Yeah, but he's not supposed to be stealing checks. MJ gave him the bag, right? I'm saying Chicago. Look at me. Boston, they knew that he didn't want to be, he wasn't okay with being the backup point guard. We know he wasn't okay with being the backup point guard to Kyrie. We know they brought in Kemba Walker in replace of Kyrie. But in the interim, they said, you know what? I'm going to have to move on from Terry Rozier. Rozier is what I call him. So MJ said, I'm going to take a chance on my man Terry Rozier since Kemba
and 1 month into the season, MJ's like, I might have to move on from Terry Rozier.
Listen, and I'm with him because what is happening right now? He doesn't look. I saw him up close in person. He doesn't look motivated. He doesn't look like he gives two shits right now about what's going on in Charlotte. I know it's a losing team. I know Graham is killing him right now in the rotation right now. He's playing in front of him, not necessarily in front of him, but he's getting more minutes than him. And then the problem is that Rozier, he's stealing money, like I would say. After seeing this game and seeing how he played against the New York Knicks, I would think in Madison Square Garden, that's your time to show out. Graham came over there. He showed out. He had the game-winning shot, I would say, against the New York Knicks. And Rozier, he was just not feeling it. So I just want to throw that out there before we get into the Knicks, that my man Rozier is stealing checks, and I'm very disappointed, 100%.
You should be disappointed in MJ. I mean, he should know better than that. But honestly, the same guy who drafted Kwame Brown, so.
I mean, shit. I was just...
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So, yeah, Josh, let's get into your Knicks right now, man, because we got to talk about your boys.
Do we?
we most definitely do. And like I said before, I was talking about the Rozier thing that I was at the game the other night. And also one of my main points or one of my main observations that I noticed during the time I was there is that my man David Fizdale, he looks checked out. He looks checked out, my man, and I mean it. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, Josh. I've been a huge, semi-huge Fizdale supporter last year and this season because I feel like he has gotten a bad rap a little bit because he hasn't been given enough talent to work with. So, but my patience is running real thin, and I'm not even a full fan of the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? My patience is thin because I don't know. Right. I don't know if Fizdale is really developing these young players properly or if they're developing properly under him. Because when I was there at that game, a couple of things I saw. I saw extremely bad rotations. I saw no consistency in his rotations, and he doesn't allow his players to get into a rhythm. One day you see Trey playing, one day you see Dodson playing, one day it's Peyton playing, or whoever's bringing Fizz his coffee and his bagel in the morning to butt him up.
He got interns.
Yeah, his interns. That's who's going to play that night. So there's no consistency there. And a couple of times I saw, which was disgusting to watch, Julius Randle running the point. Initiating the offense while that has ever been done. So I'm looking at Fizdale right now, and I'm like, man, this man looks checked out. He looks like he cares from the surface, but I'm not buying it. So what about you? So what are your thoughts on Fizdale, Josh?
Well, the checked out thing, I mean, you saw it firsthand. I'm not really sure if I would go that far, but I do think his job is pretty much, I mean, he's done. I can't see them keeping him past this year. It wouldn't surprise me if they fire him here. They have won games now. I think they won 2 in a row now, right? They beat the Cavs.
Yeah, they beat the Cavs. Mm-hmm.
Man, I agree with everything you just said. I don't dislike David Fizdale. When they hired him, I was very happy that they did. He's well respected in the league. Mm-hmm. I think he's somebody who could have brought a culture to New York that to be honest with you, I was in favor for. I mean, he seemed like he could groom younger players. He seemed like he had the respect of veterans.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just I wouldn't say a no-brainer, but it was a good hire. It was a hire that I think all Knicks fans agreed upon. Now, what I'm looking at now, I see no offense. I see a different starting lineup every week. I see absolutely no faith in any of the younger players outside of RJ Barrett. I mean, Mitchell Robinson. Why is Mitchell Robinson on the bench? I mean, I know he's been,
and he was starting before, was he not? He was in the beginning. Yeah.
Makes no sense. I mean, this guy is one of the better defenders in the league. Forget young players in the league, period. He should be starting. You should be developing this guy. Kevin Knox, I know some people are high on him, some people are low on him, and he's been a little inconsistent since he came in the league, but you know what? He should be getting big minutes. It makes absolutely no sense what they're doing. I mean, you brought in 15 power forwards in free agency.
Oh, so 39.
Yeah, 39. That doesn't help him out, right? I'm not saying that that's his fault, but you still have to manage that. It's your job as the coach to manage all of that. Listen, I like Taj Gibson as a player, but he shouldn't be getting minutes over someone like a Kevin Knox or Mitchell Robinson and these young players. Sure.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's pretty... I don't know. See, that's the thing. And that's what I think everyone is trying to figure out. Is it a Fizdale thing? Is it a management thing? It's probably a little bit of both. But... it's just all around, like, Fizz can do a better job. I'm not saying he's the person to blame, but he can just do a better job all around.
Exactly. He can do a better job. And all the problems Knicks have, it's not Fizdale. Like, if I'm going to rank the problems, Fizdale's not up top, right? You have Dolan. I think this team was poorly put together. I mean, I know you were going to ask me about the KP trade. I can just tell you right now, it's been a disaster.
Oh, my God.
You traded, check this out. You traded the best player you drafted since Patrick Ewing, the most talented player you drafted since Patrick Ewing, and gave him away for a player who is not even starting and getting minutes and cap space that you didn't even use. I mean, you did use it because you got Julius Randle and all these power forwards that you brought in. But let's be honest, you got the cap space for KD. You got the cap space for Kyrie. Kemba was a backup plan. So you traded your best player since Patrick Ewing that you drafted, because some would argue Melo, but that you drafted since Patrick Ewing for absolutely nothing. You gave him away for nothing.
Nothing.
And it's okay that he was disgruntled. Okay, so you know what? He's not happy in New York. Who cares? You own this guy. You own his rights. You make the right decision. If you're going to trade him for a piece that you're going to use later in the
Well, if you look at them, remember, they thought they were getting a piece that they could use. They thought Dennis Smith Jr. was the piece or the piece in that deal, the nice young prospect, but you're not even allowing him to blossom, number one. And he's not looking good, number two.
Right.
And also, number three is he just has no confidence. It's zero confidence. And now,
but how could you? I'm sorry to interrupt, but how could you have confidence when Fizdale's going to start him one game, bench another game, 6-man one game? It's like anybody in that situation is going to lose confidence. And I'm not even that big of a fan of Dennis Smith Jr. I don't dislike the guy, but I wasn't happy with the trade. But I can't blame him for not having confidence. Your coach doesn't even have confidence in you.
True indeed. And I mean, I would be a little pissed off too if I was saying, if we keeping it a buck, you got the French Krilla playing over me, the French Baguette, Ntilikina playing over me. I would be highly upset if I'm Dennis Smith. I would be highly upset. So I would be damn pissed off at Fizdale. And I wouldn't play my hardest. Trade me. He's playing like he wants to get traded, except he had a nice little game against the Mavericks when they came over there to the Garden. That was his best game I've seen him play. But
it was. And then the next game, he didn't do nothing.
Few and far between.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. So I'm glad you brought up KP. We might as well get into KP and let's talk about that. Because he made his return last week into the Garden. Electric, by the way. It was a spicy game, Josh. Everybody was watching it on TNT. The MSG crowd was rowdy. They were getting into it. They were not playing with Porzingis. They booed him every time he touched the rock, which I love.
Shout out to the Knicks fans, man. Even when we're terrible, terrible for 20 years now. We still show up.
Yes, they showed up and they showed out. And Marcus Morris came out. He said also that KP looked a little rattled, and I agree. Porzingis, I didn't like. I definitely didn't like what I saw from him. There was zero aggressiveness. I mean, he tried to fake the aggressiveness towards the beginning of the game, but at the end of the game, you had Randall bullying you. Put that body into him when he fell. What was that? Probably in the last minute of the game or the last 2 minutes or something like that to make the score go up 101-99, something like that. And Porzingis, he just got bodied in the paint, and then he tried to score again. And I'm looking at him like, you look rattled. You look very rattled. So I was disappointed in Porzingis because I said it on the last episode. I expected him to have a big game. I expected him to come in here, drop 40. He did none of that.
No, he did absolutely none of that. And that surprised me, too, because a big reason why he was so successful his rookie year is because he came in and had this chip on his shoulder, right?
Yeah.
We booed him on draft night, and someone with a weak mindset would have folded. So it's kind of weird to see him in Dallas this year because he's kind of been struggling all year. It's not just a Knick game. And see him trying to find his place. I don't know if it's the injury, if he's just, finding his way back, is not confident in his physical abilities yet. But it is weird to see someone who bursted onto the scene in New York playing at the Garden on the Knicks, which isn't the easiest thing to do, even though they stink. You do have to have a strong mindset for that, and he displayed that as a Knick. And it wasn't the same Porzingis that I remember rooting for.
It definitely wasn't. Boy was looking spooked. He was looking spooked.
Yeah, we didn't see that in New York. We never saw that in New York.
Not at all. He was embracing the crowd before, but now I guess it's a little bit different because he's coming as the villain. But you got to eat those. But so let's talk about the KP, the trade. Looking back on it right now, so I would take it from your last comments that you definitely regret the KP.
Oh my goodness! Oh my God! I mean, and I said it from the beginning. I mean, everyone was just like, "You know what? They got cap space now." Oh, really?
Oh, cap space. Put that on a jersey. Cap space.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what did that get us? Nowhere. And then on top of that, we traded for Dennis Smith Jr., right? So at the time, it's like, okay, we traded for a point guard, but Kyrie's still out there. Kemba's still out there. We have a draft class coming in. We didn't know if we were going to get Ja Morant or not. So it's like we're already banking on that Dennis Smith Jr. is going to be the point guard of the future while we have all these point guards coming into free agency. On top of that, Ja Morant's in the draft. Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? It makes absolutely no sense. I think they were absolutely fooled. I think that they thought they were getting KD for sure. I think they went all in on that, and it blew up in their faces, which is what happens to the Knicks, and that's what they do. That's just Knicks are gonna Knick.
Oh, they're gonna Knick. Well, I always say my issue with the Knicks, they always show their ass too early. You know what I'm saying? They're giving up the ass.
They show their cards.
Yeah,
like
show their cards.
They play poker and they just flip over their cards.
Yeah, they let everyone know who they're going after. I'm letting everybody know my plan. So if it doesn't fall through, I look like an ass out of the group. So, and that's the problem with what they do every single year, because us regular pedestrians, we should know who they're specifically targeting and specifically gearing up for that much, to that extent, where it's like you either get them or it's a bust at that point. So that's always been the Knicks' problem. And they thought they were getting a piece in Dennis Smith Jr. They got Wesley Matthews, who's not there anymore. They got DeAndre Jordan, who's not there anymore.
That was just a clear cap space, though.
Yeah, exactly. And they got those two draft picks as well. So I definitely think the Knicks regret the trade. And like you said before, he was still under contract. I know he was a restricted free agent at that time, I believe. So he did have a year left, and then he would have had to sign the qualifier. But the Knicks, I mean, like that's a relationship I feel like could be smoothed over easily. And you don't know what Porzingis is going to look like coming back from his injury. And you want to be the team to receive the fruits of that labor, because while he was out, you got nothing. So why give him away now?
Exactly. And then you're going to sign him to the max. He's going to sign the qualifying offer you gave him, so you have him for one more year last season. And if you feel like he's still not going to re-sign with you after that, then you trade him. Then you get pieces. But they did it way too early. They panicked. It was just a panic move.
Panic. 100%.
It was very amateur. Like, that's what it felt like. I felt amateur.
Yeah, it definitely did. It definitely felt like amateur hour. And because why I feel like it also hurt them more than helped them in free agency is because you're a KD, you're a Kyrie, you're looking at the Knicks roster right now. What are you really coming for?
Nothing.
Exactly, for nothing. If I feel like they had KP in place, I think that Kevin Durant and Kyrie would have still looked at the Knicks a little bit harder, or maybe one or the other would have looked at the Knicks a lot harder if they were still in place. They're like, okay, we're still a mid-tier Eastern Conference team, and the way the East is shaking out now, it's anybody's ball game.
Exactly. Yeah. Even just KP, if he returns to form right now, you have KP. Let's just say we get RJ Barrett. Like RJ Barrett's role is diminished a little bit. He doesn't have to carry what he's been carrying right now. And shout out to RJ Barrett. I was not someone who wanted him, but I think.
Yes.
I'll be honest. Like after a few games, I think I was wrong about this dude. Not so much that I think he's going to be great. I always thought he was going to average maybe like 15 to 20 a game at the sophomore career. But he has more of He's more unselfish than I thought he'd be, so I got to give him credit for that. But you have KP, you have RJ Barrett, and yeah, it is something where someone like KD or even like a Kemba could like, you know what, I could come here, I could do this. You know what I mean? Yeah. But once KP, it's who do you have with absolutely nobody? Nobody.
You got a couple of young pieces, and that's it. And so while we're on this, I got a question out here from my boy Rob Rivera. So shout out to Rob sending me a question. Hey. So he said, fellas, he's a big New York Knicks fan. Mm-hmm. And the 2 first-round picks that you guys received in that KP trade. So he had a 2-part question. He said, how should we best utilize the 2 first-round draft picks they received for KP? Should we, A, trade the picks in a package for a star, like maybe a D-Lo or maybe another guard, or keep those picks, build to the draft? So I'm going to ask you, Josh, what do you think is the best way to utilize those 2 picks?
I mean, I'm a fan of building through the draft. The problem is the Mavericks are good. So those picks are not going to be. I don't know if they're going to be. They're definitely not going to be lottery picks this year. I mean, the Mavs right now at the 5 seed. I have all the confidence in the world they're going to make the playoffs this year. Mm-hmm. I know people booked them as a fringe playoff team, but it's early enough where you can just tell that Luka's having a special season. KP's not going to play that bad all year, and I feel like Mark Cuban's the type, of GM or owner to have his GM make trades at the deadline for them. Make a push. So I think that pick is going to be in the 20s. It really just depends on what comes your way. You never know what type of situations a superstar player are going to find themselves into. We might be able to use that pick, but for me, I would keep it for now unless there's a superstar on the table or someone who can change.
Superstar? You think you could get a superstar with those picks?
No, not. It'd be like included. It'd be like we'll keep. Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, and picks.
You would have to package two of the young pieces with it. What about like a guy like DeMar DeRozan? He's available.
Ooh, no.
You don't like the fit, okay?
No, man, because it's a little bit like Melo to me, where it's. Melo's fantastic. He's a fantastic scorer. Don't get me wrong. It's just not someone I want to build my roster around. And DeRozan, I think he's a cool piece if you kind of plug him in somewhere in the right situation. But I'm not bringing him over, and I'm not going to have him be the centerpiece and build a roster around that. I'm just not.
Okay, so what about a guy like D-Lo, like he mentioned in...
No.
I like your thinking, Josh.
No, man. Listen,
Mr. Robotic, I call D-Lo.
Yeah, and that, and this goes, I think you and I agree on this. I mean, because you're a big fan of CP3, so I can make this assumption about you. I like my point guards who can see the floor, who think about others first, who run an offense, who understand that, I can get myself going at any time. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drive the lane, kick for 3, because that guy hasn't touched the ball in a long time. And I don't see that in D-Lo whatsoever. I went to a couple of Brooklyn Net games last year, and there were a lot of times when you're watching the game in person, especially when you're sitting up there, you can see the whole court. He missed a lot of basic reads that a point guard should be making off of the pick and roll and just in general. And that kind of turned me off about him. I don't think he's a bad basketball player by any means, but with that contract, there's no way I want him on my team.
Yeah, now he has a max contract now, so I wouldn't give him personally the max, but in the way the NBA market is, they just demand a max, so you have to give it to him. But D-Lo to me is more like a combo guard. He's definitely not a pure point. He's definitely not really a 2 guard, but he's a point guard that can score, who can make a play, but he shouldn't be a full-time playmaker.
Never.
So I'm not a fan of D-Lo, so I would stay clear from him if I'm New York, especially with that big money that he has right now.
I totally agree. Yeah. I think the best bet the Knicks can do is just develop RJ, see what he's best at doing. I think you can develop Kevin Knox into being a nice player and Mitchell Robinson, and then seeing, okay, we can get someone via trade, maybe via free agency, to plug in with this group and maybe build something around that.
Yeah, I just think they need to sniff around the market a little bit. Just put some feelers out to say we have these picks are available. Whoever may need them. One of our young players is available if one may need them. And I just think just sniff around a little bit, see what becomes available, and make a smart trade for once. For once.
No, that's never going to happen. Ever. I have no faith.
Man, that is so terrible. So let's talk about some bright spots, at least, for the New York Knicks in this season. So you mentioned it before. We talked about RJ. He's most definitely, got to say, unanimously the number one bright spot for the Knicks.
He's their best player.
He is, 100%. I know you didn't want him before. I remember when we had that early episode, you wanted Ja Morant, which I was with you too. I would have rather Ja over RJ. We're going to get into that a little bit after this, but in the rookie rankings, but RJ, he's playing pretty well. I must admit, he's averaging, what is he giving? He's giving you 15 a night, 5 rebounds a night, 3 assists a night. He's lead. I don't know if he's still leading the league in minutes, but I know he's top 3 in the league in minutes right now, which is a lot of people like again iffy on, but I don't really care. He's young. He's only 19, 20 years old. Yeah, give me a break. But is he being put in the best position to succeed here in New York City with Fizdale? What do you say to that, Josh?
It's difficult to tell because the team's not winning and they're trying him at different positions. So it's almost like, all right, what is RJ best at? And I think right now, as personally for RJ Barrett, I think it's fine. He's a rookie. You're finding out what he's best at, what his best position is. I mean, maybe he can run point guard. Maybe he can't. Maybe he's better on the wing. Who knows? We'll see. Them losing is not good, but I do think that he's showcasing his talents. I do think that playing him this much, I do agree with Fizdale when he says like load management. Like, what the hell is load management? I actually like that about Fizdale.
Me too. That I like. He's not afraid to say so. Take that for that.
Yeah, take that for yes. And so we're seeing a lot from RJ. We're seeing what he can do, what he can't do, and he's had some down nights, but he's a rookie. Like that doesn't concern me. I'm not really concerned with the ups and downs. To me, it's how does he read the floor? How does he fit into an offense? How does he work with other players who play the same position as him? Like how does he respond with all that? And with that, I've been very impressed with him. I thought that his style would clash with a lot of other players because I thought personally watching him in Duke, and this could be spacing, this could be, Coach K, this could be playing with Zion. I thought that he would force a lot of bad shots. I thought that he would, force a lot of bad passes. I thought he'd be selfish at times, but, I really haven't seen that much from RJ, and I'm really happy that I haven't. So I like what I see. And I think, in his rookie year, it's just figuring out what he's best at. So for next year, we can have him at that position and go forward.
I agree with you, but I would say to your point, I would say I think they do know already what he's good at. I think they know that he's good at driving to the basket. He's good at, he can create his own shot. He could post up a little bit. He could definitely get to the lane. He could definitely penetrate. He could pass a little bit. He's not the greatest playmaker, but that's work in progress.
Yeah, he can pass it. He can pass. He's a better passer than I thought he was.
Yes, well, I would say that because I didn't really expect much when it comes to passing. When it comes to RJ, that wasn't his role over there in Duke. So, but my issue, I don't really have an issue with RJ. I have an issue with how Fizdale is utilizing RJ. So what I said in a couple episodes before, I don't like how RJ has played 3 different positions already this fall in the first 14 games. He played the 3, he played the 2, then he played the 1. He started at the 1. And definitely, I don't think he should ever start at the 1. So I think that was a mistake right there with Fizdale. And I think, me personally, I would think he's best suited to play the 3. He's 6'7". He's a big body. He can penetrate, like I said before. He can shoot the mid-range jumper. He can shoot the 3. And what I like most is that he's efficient. He's an efficient scorer. So I personally would like him at the 3 because I don't feel like he's quick enough sometimes to play the 2, depending on what the matchup is. He's not. So I would personally have him at the 3. And then you can put a jump shooting, a much quicker and a playmaking 2 and a shooting 2 right beside him. For me personally, so I think he's playing out of position when he starts at the 2, which he does majority of the time. So that's the part about RJ that I don't like this season.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think the Knicks are just desperate for a playmaker in general. Yeah. So what happens is bring in someone like RJ who can handle the rock, he can get to the brim, and you're like, all right, well, can you be that playmaker for us? And so that's what Fizdale's pretty much trying. At the same time, Fizdale's trying everything. Fizdale's trying.
A little too much, though. A little too much.
tryout. And I said this on my podcast. It's a tryout for a team that's never going to exist. It's like, we're going to see what you can do so that when we get these free agents that we're never going to get, you can play. Like, it's just, it's a joke. And, Fizdale has to take responsibility for that. I don't mind, like I said before, going back to my point, I don't mind that with RJ too much because we just got him. He's a rookie and you're kind of trying to think what his strengths are. But I do agree with you based off what I've seen so far. I think the 3 is the best position for him. I just think the Knicks are so desperate for a playmaker that they're willing to experiment with him at the 1 maybe at times.
Yeah, but they're too damn desperate now. You're too damn desperate. Like, show me some consistency. Show me you're trying to win games.
Right.
And stop trying to do all these feelers and testing out. Come on, man.
But that was last year.
Yeah, exactly. That was last year.
It was all last year, and they came to this season, and they're doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, come on, man. Knicks fans are out of control. They want to see the Maple Mamba, as they calling him right now. But so speaking of him, the Maple Mamba, where does he rank? What would you say in rookie rankings thus far? You have him. Well, I will ask you, where do you rank him right now, RJ?
Well, Ja's definitely my favorite.
So you got Ja number 1. I have Ja number 1, my personal top rookie right now.
Yeah, Ja Morant. I mean, he's the one. I mean, you know this.
Yes,
I wanted him the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
He's an absolutely killing it. I'm not sure. He's definitely. I don't know how I'd rank him. I would want to see Zion for a little bit.
I'm taking him out just because he hasn't played yet because we haven't seen him. Mm-hmm.
I like what I've seen from Kobe. I like what I've seen. Kobe White from Chicago.
Kobe White. Remember they got Hachimura playing well on the Wizards.
Yeah, he's been playing good. But honestly, you got to put RJ too. I mean, he seems to he's getting more minutes, so it's easier for him to produce more numbers. But I think he's just been a little more consistent than everybody else except for Ja. So I would have Ja 1, RJ 2.
I agree. I have Ja 1, RJ 2. At 3, I got Tyler Hero, Tyler Sandwich, as I call him. I definitely got to put him top 3 because he's confident as a rookie. And I got Hachimura in there in a close with Kobe White and also Kendrick Nunn.
Kendrick Nunn's been up there. PJ Washington, yes.
There's a couple of guys. So most definitely RJ's top 3. I think easily. I don't think anyone can deny that. But I would definitely have. So we agree. 1, 2, and 3. I would say those are the top 3 rookies thus far. Until Zion, we see how he's doing. He better lose a couple of pounds before he gets. I saw a picture of him.
You big, yeah.
Did you see that? How he was looking in that sweatsuit? Like, what?
He's a big dude.
Man, looking massive. I can't even call him a man. What's 19 right now, right?
Yeah. I hope he stays healthy, man. I'm rooting for him.
Oh, my God. And see, the problem is you got people like Reem, who's always on the show, rooting for Zion to not perform up to expectations. So he could say,
why?
So he could say, I told you so.
Come on, yo. He's a young-ass kid.
Come on.
Good kid. And if he fulfills his potential, he's going to be so excited.
Yeah, but he just got to lose a few pounds. I'm not going to lie. I don't like what I saw in that photo. He was looking massive.
To find a few. I mean, he needs to lose like 40 pounds. I don't even think I'm exaggerating when I say that.
Damn, man, like, that was a lot, man. So we also had another question from my boy J Gems, who also wrote me. He said, fellas, do you think Randall could ever be an all-star caliber player? Julius Randle.
No.
I agree.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, just because you're not an all-star doesn't mean you're not good. I think Julius Randle
caliber.
All right, so all-star caliber is someone who makes the all-star team, right? Or a fringe all-star, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, you have like he's in that world of like the Danilo Gallinari's who's never made an all-star game, but at the same time, like, yo, Danilo will give you buckets. Like, he's nice. So you know what I mean? Yeah, so I could I'll put Julius in that stratosphere, and that's not a knock on him. It is what it is, but no, all-star, no. I don't see him as an all-star.
I agree. I think he can try to put up all-star-like numbers on a shitty team, but I don't think he is an all-star level player, me personally, until he learns how to pick his head up before he dribbles.
Oh, my goodness.
He takes 3 dribbles with his head down and never looks up until you're under the backboard.
Oh, man. But you know when he's on.
Yeah, that is true. He could bully the shit out of you and get a good 20 points worth of bullying. I'll give him that.
Yep. I like him.
Yeah, I definitely like him when he's got a head on straight. Yeah. But so is it 8th seed, Knicks, a pipe dream? It's over for that? No playoffs.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Absolutely. It's over. It's been over. There's no. I don't see it happening at all. And mostly because, and this goes back to Fizdale. Like, we need some type of consistency. You're going to need to have the same starting lineup at some point. You're going to need to have the same rotation at some point. And the Knicks have this thing where their roster's not great, but it's also not that bad. So you have a lot of players who deserve playing time. I mean, you can make a case for everybody getting some minutes, and that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, usually with these teams, like, there's this discrepancy. You know who your starters are, and you know who your rotation players are, and you know who the people who are just kind of trying to crack the rotation are. With the Knicks, you can make a case for, like, Alonzo Trier getting more minutes. You can make the case for Dotson getting more minutes. You know what I mean? So it's a situation where Fizdale's handed a roster where he doesn't know what to do with it, on top of the fact that they're all so close in talent. So I don't really see any type of consistency coming from the coach, which means I don't see there's any type of consistency coming from the team.
I agree. That was well said. I'm not going to lie. I definitely think that AFC pipe dream is out the window.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Let's tank. Cole Anthony, baby.
And it's so terrible. Another damn taken season. I'm sick of hearing that from the Knicks.
Me too, man.
Because those tickets ain't tanking. I'll tell you that. Damn sure not. Damn sure not. But yeah, man. So hopefully the Knicks can at least go on and we can see some improvement going forward in the season at least. That would be nice to see.
Yeah, I just want to see RJ develop. I want to see Kevin Knox take a step forward. I want to see Mitchell Robinson stay healthy and take a step forward. I don't care about Taj Gibson. I don't care about Elfrid Payton. I really don't care about these players. Marcus Morris, I think we should trade at the deadline to a team that's contending. He's on a 1-year deal. Those things are very valuable to teams that are looking for, like, someone on an expiring contract. Get rid of him for some picks or some young players. That's what my mission is for the Knicks going forward.
Yeah, I agree there. I think they just need to build on this young core, try to build on this young roster. If, like I said before, if a trade becomes available, you're sniffing around the market a little bit, you see
absolutely.
Well, just go for it. Or at least try. Not a person on a long-term contract, maybe a 2-year, 3-year deal would be optimal, I think, for the Knicks, would be best for them going forward. So, we'll see. But like you said, them Knicks gonna Nick. We'll see. No, they gonna Nick.
Unfortunately, they are.
So yeah, man. So let's get up to this crossover segment.
Not a game.
Yes.
Not a game. We talking about practice.
Crossover segment, family, where I do player comparisons from different eras, if you didn't know. And my man Josh here acts as GM, and he tells me who he would take out of the guys in their prime if he was building a team, playing fantasy GM. So I'm gonna do the new crossover segment with you. I'm gonna throw out 3 guys. It's a not the head-to-head format as usual. It's 3 guys, and you're gonna pick 1 guard and 1 big. Choose those 2 as to who you would start your team with.
Got it.
I'm gonna throw out the guards.
All right, here we go.
Are you taking building your team? You got a prime D Rose, prime Russell Westbrook, prime Baron Davis on the table.
God. Okay.
For your bigs, you got a prime C Webb, a prime Blake Griffin, a prime Pau Gasol on the table. 1 guard, 1 big to start your franchise with together on your roster. D Rose, Russ, Baron Davis, C Webb, Blake Griffin, Pau Gasol. Who you got, brother?
All right, so the guard I'm going with is D Rose.
Easy choice.
Yeah, D Rose. Listen, Russell Westbrook is cool. He's definitely not the type of point guard I would want or guard on my team. I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm not saying he's not a Hall of Famer. Just I can't have my point guard or hybrid guard, whatever you want to call him, over the amount he turns the ball over, shooting threes at a rate that is absurd.
Absurd.
Know how to shoot the 3. I just can't. I need to be able to trust the guard that that has the ball in their hands. And Derrick Rose, I think people forget how good prime Derrick Rose was. He was ridiculous. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone change direction the way he did. He was smart about, when to shoot, when to take it to the hole. I mean, he wasn't the best jump shooter in the world, but you know what? He knew that, and he didn't try to force it. He played to his strengths. He was just a monster. So for that, I'm going with prime Derrick Rose.
And for the bigs?
Bigs, I'm going Pau Gasol.
Oh, okay.
I think he's one of the more underrated players in general in NBA history. I mean, he got to Lakers, and look what the Lakers did. They won a championship immediately once he got traded there. I mean, he can do everything. He can shoot, he can pass, he can rebound, he can defend. He was tough. He's everything you want in a big, and he can spread the floor. You're not going to get any type of chemistry issues with him. Just to me, I wouldn't say a perfect basketball player, but as perfect as you can get. He and his brother are 2 of my favorite players of all time.
Wow, that's a nice sleeper surprise choice. I like those. So let me go with my 2.
Okay.
I'm going D Rose as well.
Nice.
I had once you said that, I said, "Oh yeah, that's a sweep," because I gotta go with D Rose. He's most definitely the most athletic point guard ever. For Russ, don't love Russ. I need my point guard to have a better IQ. Like you said before,
Yes.
a better IQ, situational IQ. I need a better game manager. So if you're a guy like me who likes Chris Paul, he's the opposite, Russell Westbrook. So, like I said, I gotta have a point guard with a better IQ. B Diddy. I really like B Diddy. I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, he was cold, bro.
Was cold, bro.
Oh
and the thing about Baron Davis, I feel like he's the best playmaker out of these three. The best, literally, point guard out of those three.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, so that's why I really was inching on picking B Diddy. He's athletic as well. He can still dunk on you.
Yeah.
I don't know whose crossover's better. I might give B Diddy the nod, Baron Davis over D Rose in terms of handles, but it was close. But I'm gonna go with D Rose because I was a huge fan, and he was an MVP, so that matters. And for the bigs, bigs to me was easy. I'm going C-Web all day, every day. I think
he was close second. He was close second for me.
Easily for me going C-Web. C-Web is low key my second favorite power forward of all time. He might actually be number one. It's between him and KG. I can't decide, but I've been the hugest C-Web fan. I still got my black and purple Kings jersey in the closet. C-Web.
Can they go back to those jerseys? By the way,
those white chocolate jerseys. Those were the best.
Come on, yo.
Those are the best. I hate these little purple jerseys they have right now. And then they switch it to the gray. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan. They're terrible.
Same.
So, yeah, I'm definitely going with C-Web. I think C-Web was one of those rare power forwards who was a triple threat, dribble, pass, and shoot. And I think even though all three of these bigs can pass, that's why I specifically chose those three.
Yep.
All three of them can really make a pass and can really operate from the high post. And actually, you can run your offense through either one of these three at all times through the high post. But I'm going to go with C-Web the nod because I think he was the best player out of those three. I think he's better than Pau Gasol, even though probably you may disagree, but I think just C-Web just had it all, man. Especially prime C-Web. Even half of C-Web with Sacramento was still giving you 20 and 10.
No, you're right. And listen, C-Web was a close second for me. Just for me, I maybe seeing Pau Gasol winning championships put him over the top in my head. I just like Pau just a little better, maybe defensively as well, just a little better.
See, defensively, you have it there. He's definitely a better defender. He can play two positions.
He was one of my favorite. That Kings team that 2003, 2004. That's my favorite non-Knick team of all time. So.
Oh yeah, well that was a hell of a team. Oh man, hell of a damn team. Yeah, man. So I like it. Okay, Josh, I'm not mad at those. Okay, nice Pau with the sleeper.
Yeah,
for sure. So yeah, bro, I appreciate you joining me, man. As always, you always welcome on Above the Rim. You're one of my good brothers that I've met in this game, and I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on. As always, it's always a good time, man.
Of course. And family, let you know, Josh is big time now. He's out there on Uninterrupted. Big time now. We got to give my man some love on that. I couldn't stop ending the episode without showing you some love. So shout out and show Josh some love, man, especially on his Dime NBA podcast and the podcast you're producing as well. Give my man a holler. Give my man a shout. My boy Josh, he's big time. So definitely, it's my guy right there. Appreciate you joining me, dog.
Yeah, man, I gotta have you on the dime, man. Let's set it up.
Oh yes, I'm in there. So, family, man, that's episode. What we on right now? 111. Episode 1.
Yo, hold on. Congratulations to you. You know how hard it is to produce 111 episodes of a basketball podcast every week to stay consistent for years. So shout out to you. If you got the clap sound effect, play it right now.
I just did. Thank you, man. I appreciate the kind words, dog. For real, it's a lot of work, man. But shit, gotta do it. So family, that's episode 111, and we out.